So today I'm going to take a quick look at the Ulefone Armor 6. I did a quick unboxing the other day, so now I've used it for a whole week as my main phone. I'm just going to give you my first impressions of it. As you can see, it's snowed, it's lovely. So I've got a couple of phones to compare it to. That's the Ulefone Armor 6. That is the Huawei P Smart 9. And this is another rugged phone, the Cat S60. These two are both waterproof. Now, first things first, if we compare it to the Cat S60, you'll see that there's quite a difference in size. Let's turn the screen back on because it's gone off. The Cat S60 only runs Android 6 and has a much smaller screen. The Ulefone Armor 6 runs Android 8.1 and has a 6.2 inch screen. So if I put the two phones down next to each other, make sure they're still on, there is a massive difference in screen size. Very noticeable when you're watching videos. Otherwise the thickness of the phones are very, very similar. The Cat has a number of poor design points. The flaps on the side for the USB charging socket, and where did the SIM card go? I can't remember. SIM card flap underneath the back like that. Quite weak features. I've already had water in there, and a number of users have had failures on the USB port where it plugs in, because as you can see it's very loose and there's not much material there to seal it. When you press it shut, that's all that protects you from water getting into your phone. The Cat does not support wireless charging, and that's one of its weak areas. So you can't put it on a wireless charging plate, you have to use those ports. And every time you open those ports, you're risking the waterproof seal not sealing correctly, or it just wearing out and you losing it. But the main drawback is it's Android 6, and there are no updates for it. I've checked with Cat, so it's a £600 phone. Couple of years old now I guess, but £600 phone, and there are no updates for it. End of. So we can immediately discount that. Sure, it's got the infrared camera, but after you've tried that a couple of times, to be honest, you get bored quite quickly. So if we look at comparing it to two modern phones, the Huawei P Smart 2019 and the Ulefone Armor 6, you can see screen size, they're incredibly similar. Not a lot in it at all. This is far too slippy, I keep dropping it. It's not as easy to hold. Quality wise, the screens on both phones are pretty good, so let me just play a quick video and we'll see. And the reason I'm going to show you this video is because it makes a point as to why the Ulefone is better. So if I play this video,
as winter tyres on a two-wheel drive vehicle.
It's got good audio. I'll turn it up actually.
Not even close, and the braking is atrocious. I think I'm probably 40 metres, 50 metres on from him, which is a huge gap. Hopefully the next test will show four-wheel drive is as good as everyone else thinks, because I'm stuck with the four-wheel drive in some of the tyres. Next test of the day.
Very good quality video. I'll do the same on the P Smart.
Give you as much traction on a four-wheel drive vehicle as winter tyres on a two-wheel drive vehicle.
Of course it's not doing it now.
They don't. Not even close. And the braking
just as there's loading up the video, there's a lot of buffering. So if I change parts in the film, that's buffering there before it gets there and then it plays.
Okay, final test of
if I do the same on
just
this one,
braking from 50 kilometers an hour,
and zoom in,
I don't think I'm going to do any better in this than I did in the...
It loads much quicker, there you go.
Any will drive on winter tyres. So
this is pause the noise. I've noticed on numerous occasions of using these two phones that the Wi-Fi on the Ulefone 6 is much better than the Wi-Fi on the Huawei P Smart 2019. I'm sat in the conservatory currently, and the signal strength is 1 bar on the Huawei and 3 bars on the P Smart. So all around the house, and in fact I've found out at work and everywhere else, that the The Wi-Fi is much better on the Ulefone Armor 6. So that's a couple of quick comparisons. Somebody asked, could I operate it with gloves on? Well, let's find out. These are really thick winter ski gloves, sort of things that you might use on a motorbike. Very thick. So I will lock the phone. Obviously I'm not going to be able to unlock it with fingerprints, but let's see if I can swipe up to unlock it. There you go. Now it wants my PIN code, so let me put that in. And there you go, there's the phone unlocked. So yes, you can use it in thick gloves, which is actually quite impressive. Sort of phone you'd want to use outside, skiing on the slopes without taking your gloves off. Can't get the glove off now, there you go. Or maybe you're on a motorbike and this is your sat nav. Well, you can operate the screen with really thick gloves on. The phone also is completely waterproof, IP69, which is something I actually hadn't heard of. IP68 is waterproof to a metre for 30 minutes. IP69 is waterproof to a metre for an hour, or waterproof to 2 metres for 30 minutes, I don't know. But anyway, it's better than IP68 is the important thing. So the screen's very good, it's great for watching videos on. The battery life is fantastic, so let's see if you can see the battery life in the top corner. If it focuses on there instead of me, the camera's following me, let's see if it can move, there we go. Anyway, it's on 50% battery and I haven't charged this all week. So I've used the phone off and on as my main phone, taking calls, playing the odd YouTube video, but I'm on 50% battery. It's a 5000 mAh battery, so it's a beefy battery anyway, but 50% battery after a week of use is absolutely fantastic. It's much better than any other phone I've used. And it supports wireless charging anyway, so you don't need to. There's the USB-C slot underneath, much chunkier than the Cat's USB-C slot, if you can see that. Locks in place with a nice action, makes the phone nice and waterproof. Other than the SIM card slot, it is the only hole on the phone with a cover. But you don't need to use it at all, it's wireless charging, so just drop it onto a wireless charging plate and you're sorted. The SIM card is likewise under another thick rubber cover. Let's see if you can see how thick that is. So there you go, it's a nice beefy, chunky, well waterproof cover, and then inside is a little tray which is next to impossible to get out with your fingernail, but luckily you get a supplied tool. There you go, to lever it out, and then you'll see on the SIM card drop my SIM card. You'll see on the SIM card tray it'll either take 2 SIMs or a SIM and an SD card. So I'll put that back together afterwards. But it had a nice seal to it. The other side of the phone has all metal buttons. There's the power button, turn it off and on, or wake it from sleep. And then at the top you've got your volume up and your volume down buttons. And they are actually solid metal. No plastic there. You've got metal on the other side where it actually says the words Shockproof. And then the corners are protected against drops, because if you're going to drop the phone, you never drop it absolutely flat, but even if you did, there's a slight raise to the screen. Drop it on its back likewise, but 9 times out of 10 the phone's going to land on its corner, and if you drop an iPhone or anything else on the corner, that's where you always see the dents. It shocks the screen and puts a crack straight across. These have this has well armoured corner bumpers on the corner, so you can see there it'll take all sorts of shock when it drops on the floor, so it's I would not worry about dropping this phone. I did wonder in the unboxing what that little hole was in the back, where my finger is. It turns out that's the speaker, so, and it's quite loud as well, very good. Fingerprint sensor on the back is extremely sensitive, so just a simple touch and it wakes it up. It's got dual cameras, I forget the spec now, but I'll have to look them up, with a flash and a UV sensor there. I'm not sure what the UV sensor is or does, or whether it just means it's an ambient light sensor, but it says in the instructions it's a UV sensor. So that's my quick first impressions. The audio is fantastic when you're making calls. It's very comfy to hold in the hand. You've no fear of you slipping or dropping it even when it's wet, because it's textured around the sides there. You can see at the bottom it's textured, so it's easy to hold in the hand even when wet or cold. Easy to hold with gloves on. It's not too big. It's nice and comfy to hold as a handset. Great audio when you're making calls. The recipients say it's good audio too. Great audio when you're watching videos or playing on the internet. Responsive phone for gaming, casual gaming, like real racing, that sort of thing, works very, very well on it. And you can operate it in gloves, and of course it's fully waterproof. So I'm very pleased. I love it. It's great. A fantastic purchase, and I see me using it for many years yet. So hope that was useful. If you've got any questions, like somebody said, will it work with gloves? Well, you know it does, but if you've got any other questions, ask, and fingers crossed I'll try and answer them for you. Cheers.